Absolutely. Always ready to jump into something interesting.
Well, today we're looking at Airbnb.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, specifically ways to, earn some cash with it.
I see. Make that money.
Exactly. We've got some excerpts from, it looks like the title is Earn Money with Airbnb.
Makes sense.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really curious to get into how realistic this all is and what it really takes to succeed.
Yeah, it's one thing to just list your place, but, are people actually going to book it?
Right, right. So, what's the first thing someone should consider if they're even thinking about doing Airbnb?
I mean, to me, the most obvious thing is location, location, location.
Makes sense.
Right. If you're, out in the middle of nowhere, 2 hours from the nearest town.
Probably not going to get a lot of bookings.
Probably not. You got to think about what travelers are looking for.
So, what makes a location good for Airbnb?
Well, think about it. If you were traveling somewhere, what would you be looking for?
I mean, probably stuff to do, places to see.
Exactly. Tourist attractions, maybe cool restaurants, a vibrant nightlife.
Oh, yeah, definitely the food scene. Got to be close to good food.
For sure, for sure. And, maybe something unique about the area, something that sets it apart.
Okay, so let's say you've got a great location.
Mm-hmm.
What about the space itself? What can you actually offer?
Good question. This really depends on what you have available and what kind of traveler you're targeting.
So a spare bedroom versus a whole apartment, those are different.
Oh yeah, definitely. A spare bedroom might be perfect for, say, a solo traveler on a budget.
Yeah, makes sense.
But a family of 4, they're probably going to want that whole apartment.
Right. More space, more privacy.
Exactly. And then there are those really unique spaces that can be a huge draw.
Ooh, like what?
I've seen listings for yurts, tree houses, even converted vans.
Wow. So you can really get creative with it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. If you've got something unique, flaunt it. That could be your selling point.
So you've got the location, you've got the space. What else is there?
Well, now you've got to think about your hosting style. What kind of experience do you want to provide for your guests?
Oh, interesting. So it's not just about the space itself.
Not at all. Are you the type of host who wants to be super hands-on, giving local recommendations, maybe even cooking breakfast for your guests?
Some people are really into that, huh?
Oh, yeah. Some people love that personal touch. But then others prefer a more hands-off approach, just providing a clean, comfortable space and letting the guests do their own thing.
So you really need to figure out what kind of host you want to be.
Exactly. It'll make things smoother for both you and your guests in the long run.
All right, so we've covered location, space, and hosting style. What else is there to consider?
Well, you need to think about the competition.
Oh, right, because there are probably a ton of other Airbnb listings out there.
Especially if you're in a popular tourist destination. So you've got to figure out how to make your listing stand out.
How do you do that?
Well, first off, amazing photos are a must.
Makes sense.
People are visual. They want to see what they're getting. High quality photos can make a huge difference.
So no blurry phone pics?
No. Get some good lighting. Maybe hire a professional photographer if you can. It'll be worth it.
Okay, what else besides photos?
Your listing description is super important too. It's got to be engaging, informative, highlight what makes your place special.
Right, sell it.
Exactly. And think about pricing, Research what other hosts are charging for similar spaces in your area.
Don't want to price yourself out of the market.
Exactly. But you also don't want to undervalue yourself. It's a balancing act.
So it sounds like a lot to consider. Any other words of wisdom before we wrap up?
I'd say just remember to do your research, really understand the Airbnb platform, the fees involved, any local regulations you need to be aware of.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Don't just jump in blindly. A little bit of planning goes a long way.
Absolutely. Well, I think this has been a really insightful deep dive.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it.
So for our listeners out there thinking about starting their own Airbnb journey, it definitely sounds like it can be a great way to make some extra money.
It definitely can be, but like we said, it takes some effort, some planning, and maybe a little bit of that entrepreneurial spirit.
Right. It's not just a passive income stream. You've got to put in the work.
Exactly. But it can be very rewarding, both financially and personally.
And on that note, I'll leave our listeners with one final thought.
Okay, shoot.
Imagine you're the guest, arriving at your own Airbnb listing.
I like this.
What would make you say, wow, this is incredible. This is exactly what I was hoping for?
That's a great question to ask yourself.
Right. That's the feeling you want to create for your guests.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive, everyone. We hope you found it helpful.
Thanks for having me.
And maybe we've inspired a few future Airbnb hosts out there.
You never know.
All right.